You know, something I've noticed for whenever I talk about Lakers rookie Adou Thiero, whether I'm showing the player graphic I made for him, which does have his official listed height of 6'6" barefoot. Yes, that was officially measured at the draft combine, which is different than his college height of 6'8". Many question if he's actually that short and not the college height of 6'8". Then with the background footage I show of him working out and often in the Lakers practice facility, either with a video clip or pictures from the Lakers directly, many are wondering if he's actually stronger now, has upped his weight, and might be able to play more power forward for them if he's a bit bigger than he actually is listed at, and simply about the outlook with him in regard to a height and weight standpoint, if there's any difference from that compared to the draft combine. And well, we don't have the official listed height or weight for him quite yet. That will come with training camp. And an update, if you haven't heard about that, he is expected to be ready for training camp. This coming from Dan Wokey of The Athletic. And that's actually a pretty important update given the fact that he's not been on the court and cleared to do contact in quite some time now. I mean, dating back to late February, that being when he got the injury that he's been held out with, that being a left knee hyperextension, the Lakers were very cautious with him, not letting him play in their summer league team and therefore holding him out for about 3 months now. That's actually a pretty long time off from the court and therefore might have contributed to a weight gain for him. And no, not a bad weight gain. Not the type that's previously associated with a different Laker, that being Luka Doncic, even though he himself has turned a new leaf and definitely has undergone his own body transformation. I'm talking about a good weight gain for Adou Thiero here. And I mean, we're already talking about a guy that was listed at roughly 220 pounds, that being as a 21-year-old college junior, so now if he's in the range more of a 230, comparable to a Laker like Rui Hachimura for example, that could actually be a pretty good thing for Adou Thiero in my opinion, especially in the short term for him while he does work on his offensive game. I mean, it might not sound like much, but a 230 to 235 pound player, not to mention one that's 6'8" rather than maybe 6'6.25" is a massive difference position wise and skill set wise too. In my opinion, that's probably the biggest difference between a power forward and a small forward in the modern NBA. If you're the latter, then you probably can be a power forward, being more in the dunker spot and being more of a corner baseline cutter, rather than if you're a small forward that's 6'6" and 210 to 220 pounds, you're going to be more perimeter oriented. And well, for Adou Thiero, that's probably not a role he can consistently fill quite yet. So if he's trying to crack the rotation and make an impact during his rookie year, that probably wouldn't be a good outlook for him. So if I'm Adou Thiero and I've had all this time off, I'm probably looking to bulk up, trying to get more in that 230 pound range, especially if he is listed at more of a 6'7" to 6'8", even around that latter mark, then he probably can fill that power forward role for them. I mean, with his current skill set and again not being a great fit for that perimeter spacer role, he definitely wants to be more in that dunker spot and more of a baseline cutter, aka kind of like a Jared Vanderbilt option, a guy that sometimes is forced to be a three-point shooter, you know, kind of a corner spacer at times simply due to the offense they're running and the current scheme they're trying to employ on the court, but he's definitely not comparable to a Rui Hachimura or an Austin Reeves for example, more on the wing and definitely more of a floor spacing option rather than a cutting and baseline dunker spot guy. That's more with the role that Vanderbilt fills and the role that Adou Thiero would be better fit for in my opinion too. So again, if I'm Adou Thiero, I'm definitely taking this time off to try and bulk up, be more in that 230 pound range rather than a 215 to 220 pound guy, more of a tweener at that point rather than a true power forward, if that's even a term anymore in the modern NBA. You know, the power forward spot has definitely taken a hit, not even being a real true position at this point, more of a tweener spot that threes can both fill and kind of not fill at the same time, not really a designated area on the court for them. But if there actually is one yet, and especially for their team in particular, I would say that's the best fitting position for Adou Thiero. So again, combine a 230 pound frame with maybe a true 6'8" height, which if you're looking for a photo comparison, this is the one that many have often brought up, this being the Luka Doncic press conference for his new contract with their team earlier this August, him standing next to both DeAndre Ayton and Rui Hachimura, and even in some loafers and not real shoes, looks to be every bit of the same 6'8" height that Rui Hachimura is officially listed at, and not to mention barefoot. So if that does turn out to be the case for Adou Thiero, I think that would be a big bump for himself and potentially a way for him to crack the Lakers rotation. You know, not directly crack the rotation as in he'll overtake somebody's spot and take it away from them, but more so in the chance of an injury happening or somebody underperforming. Maybe a wing ahead of him like a Jared Vanderbilt, Jake LaRavia, so on and so forth. More so looking at if they would get hurt or again are not performing that well. But again, if he is actually at that 230 pound frame and a true 6'8" height, not to mention with his 7 foot wingspan to go with it, then he would be a more viable option at the 4 for them, rather than that kind of 3 spot which he really can't fill offensively quite yet in my opinion, at least not a consistent rate. Not only from a defensive standpoint or simply filling the weight and height requirements for that spot, if there even is one, but then from a rebounding standpoint too. You know, not often talked about for any player, and not to mention even Adou Thiero, but it's probably one of his best attributes in my opinion. You know, at that point, if he would be more of a power forward and can stand more in the corner and be in the dunker spot, he'd be a much more effective corner crasher or simply offensive rebounder for their team. I mean, throughout college and during his final year in college, the guy grabbed nearly 2 offensive rebounds per game in only 27.5 minutes per game. That's incredibly impressive for a wing. A guy like himself that's maybe not the biggest player on the court, but still finds a way to get in there and keep the ball alive for his team. And not only that, but when he gets it, he definitely has the athletic ability to do something with it. Whether that be a direct putback dunk, getting it and then immediately going back up with a quick second step, Adou Thiero is very athletic and the rebounding is something that simply comes with him. I mean, like we often talk about Jared Vanderbilt, that's a skill set that he offers their team that not many other players offer on their team or really any other team for that fact too. A wing player that's truly a legitimately good rebounder. I mean, for Vanderbilt, he's an elite rebounding wing, averaging nearly 11 rebounds per 36 minutes, truly impressive, and Adou Thiero might have that kind of ability himself. Maybe not quite to that level, but like I said, grabbing a fair amount in his college career, showing the ability to be both a good defensive and offensive rebounder, playing a whole lot bigger than he is or maybe might be trying to grow into, and I think that's a good outlook for his NBA career too. I mean, I'd obviously like for him to be more of a 3-point shooting threat and eventually become that for their team, but at this current moment I definitely prefer him more around the rim offensively, more in that dunker spot to both height him and take advantage of what he does well again too. Again, advantages being the athletic ability, the rebounding ability, simply the hard work and go get the ball ability. Adou Thiero definitely has that and definitely can offer their team that too. But then to kind of height him again with the 3-point shooting, not quite being up to speed on literally the speed of the NBA and where to be on offense, I think that would probably be the best spot for him, and if they eventually have to turn to him and give him minutes in the court in their rotation, I think that would be the best spot for him in their offense. However, I definitely would argue that weight gain, if there is a weight gain, and the height if he is 6'8" or simply around that, would be more beneficial for him defensively than even offensively. I mean, yes, more talking about rebounding here, but obviously matching up on defense and what that height and weight could actually do for him on defense. I mean, compared to being 6'6" and maybe 215 to 220, at that point he'd be matching up with 1 through 3, you know, consistently, and maybe 1 through 4s at times. But if he's more of a 6'8" and 230 to 235, then he definitely can defend 1 through 4 on the court, especially if you've seen what he can do on defense and what he did throughout college. At that point, there would really be zero doubt about it in my mind. I mean, that would kind of mean him defending a guy like Jason Tatum on one night, obviously when he's healthy and back on the court, but then the next night matching up with a Tyrese Maxey, for example. I literally think Adou Thiero could do that, and especially if he does have the weight up to what we're talking about here, and has maintained his athletic ability, which I also don't think there's much question about. And overall here with Adou Thiero, yes, I actually would be hoping for both a weight and a height increase or simply a height adjustment. I usually don't care too much about it and really don't buy much into any of it, but with Adou Thiero I think it literally could help him a lot, especially for this season and his short-term outlook in the NBA, while he develops more offensively and tries to add more to his game, again meaning more than anything a 3-point shot. I think a bigger frame for himself, ability to hold his ground a bit better, both offensively and defensively, therefore allowing him to play more around the rim, not as much as a floor spacing option and therefore having to be more on the perimeter. I think that would help him out a lot. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the ideal height and weight for Adou Thiero? Do you think he should be around 230 and potentially try to get up to that prior to training camp and prior to the start of this NBA season? And then how much do you think a difference of being 6'6.5" to maybe about 6'8" would do for Adou Thiero in his rookie season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.